Well, good morning folks. Today we're going to try and have a look at this dodgy idling situation with the Civic. You might have seen in the last couple of videos where we've had it running for a few seconds here and there. It starts and it runs, but the idle's all over the shop. So what we're going to do is we're going to whip the throttle body off. Just got 4 bolts, 4 screws, nuts, whatever. Whip those off, and then the idle air control valve is on the bottom there, so we're going to have a look at that and see what's what, and if it's dirty we're going to give it a clean. If not, we're just going to fricking disconnect it and have a look at the screw. Apparently there's a screw somewhere to adjust the idle, so people tell me, but I can't see it right now, so we'll have a look and see what's what. Well, got the throttle body off, so we're going to inspect the IACV. Oh, that looks pretty great in there. So we probably don't even need to pull those screws out anyway, by the looks of it, because the bit that does the turning is just inside there. So we need to get something to inspect it with. That looks pretty seized. Looks seized pretty solid. There's a little barrel just there. That is on a little motor, solenoid motor thing in there, and that actually rotates round to allow the air to pass through. And it looks black as you like and seized bloody solid. So let's see if we can't unseize it, huh? Well, we appear to be making some progress. If you see, we've got a little drip there, and that is from the WD-40 which I've been bathing in the top hole. We're now starting to get a very, very minute amount of movement on the spindle there, on the shaft. So I'm kind of hopeful we might be able to save it. But whilst I was waiting for that to do something, because it was seized absolutely freaking solid, I'd already started templating a blanking plate, so I might just make the blanking plate anyway, just so I've got it there, just in case when I've got this freed up for whatever reason it still don't work. So hopefully that will work, fingers crossed. But that's my backup plan, and I found the screw that everyone was talking about. I was just being a daft plonker. It's actually on the bottom of the throttle spring mechanism, so you've just got a little adjustment screw just there, and at the minute it's wound right back in. So basically when that slaps shut, the throttle plate is got no air gap around it whatsoever. So by blocking off that, which is what allows some air to come through to allow the engine to idle with the throttle flap closed, you have to just basically give the throttle flap a little bit of opening and it'll then idle, and I suppose that's how you adjust the idle speed as well from there. So a couple of backup options, well, one backup option and one hopeful solution, and it's dripping like a fucked fridge right now, so I'm hopeful that that is penetrating all the way through. Bosh. You see, it's all about the small wins. That is now spinning. Free as a bird, should be able to hear that. So that's just been bathed in WD-40 for about half an hour. So let's have a look at the colour of the shit that comes out of it. Oh, looks clear on the paper, but oh yeah, no, she's brown and manky from all the corrosion that was around the underside, the bottom bearing. So quite a simple design. You basically just got a little motor inside there, and that's got a magnet on this, which I imagine is like a stator shaft that would go through the middle of the motor, and then you've got this little blade inside that, if you just see there, look, it sort of closes up that gap and then rotates to open it. You can see the daylight coming through. It's not the easiest to see, so we can get the light on it. Right, so you can see now you've got that little blade that spins and closes up the gap. I think it actually works on this side, to be honest, on the back side there. But yeah, there's absolutely tons of really nasty looking shit coming out of there. So I'm just gonna clean that out now with some brake cleaner. Now I've got that running free again, and then just soak it in some lubricant. Hope the lubricant soaks into the bearing races, and then clean it out again and put it back on. So I'm hoping we should be pretty good then after that, because that is now running free as a bird. This is all obviously on the assumption that the motor in here hasn't been burned out by trying to turn a knackered, stuck valve. So let's give it a clean up and see what happens there. Here we go. Then another little radio control car racing tip that has helped us over the years is turntable oil, mineral oil, not this synthetic stuff, actual mineral oil. It's just 030. When you've got a bearing race that started to corrode and is not very happy, we used to just absolutely lace it in this stuff, bathe it in the oil, and leave it there for a few hours or whatever. And you can see now there's barely any sound even. So she's free as a bird now compared to what it was earlier on, when it was seized absolutely freaking solid. And the screws gave me a fight. I don't know if I put that on the video, but the screws, they decided to be an absolute pain in the ass. So I had to Dremel slots in them both. So we'll replace those with some cap heads and they'll be good. But yeah, pretty happy with that, how that's turned out. That oil's turning real nasty colour already, so I'm just going to keep sitting here spinning this bad boy and then wash it out, do it again, do it 2 or 3 times, and then that thing should be free as a bird. For a while at least, so we'll see. Right, we've sufficiently loosened this bad boy up. Right now 3 spins, so that's all good. So now we're just going to use some of my favourite GT85 with PTFE. We're going to blast all that oil residue out of there, because I'm pretty sure we don't want oil going into the intake. Give that a blast out with the airline. And be Gucci, mate. Look how good that is now with the PTFE. That's why I use GT85, not WD, because WD dries up and then prevents, it doesn't stop and it just doesn't lubricate after that, whereas this has got an actual better lubricant property to it. So I reckon that's going to be good to go. Well, this afternoon's all gone a bit Pete Tong. Pretty certain that the motor in this is now completely junk, and I'm assuming that's because the actual valve shaft, like the rotating assembly in there, was seized solid. So I imagine that's just burnt the motor out, because I did it all, put it all back together, and I lost the gasket, so I had to like do a little makeshift gasket. There's no water running through it currently, so it's not a big deal. But yeah, it didn't make any difference. It's still trying to idle at like 3,000. So we blanked it off. Gonna bung that up and loop the water line so that it doesn't, like when I do put coolant in it, it's not gonna try and run water through it. So bang this back on the car and see if it makes any difference. I'm gonna try and start this again. Anyone else think this sounds a bit knocky? That'll stay there. Well, let's see if we can get a load of this, see if it will run. I think that sounds a little knocky, but it idles now. So that's again, it's all about the small wins. So it does actually now idle. I did have to disconnect the idle air control valve and completely take everything off. I've looped the water line. Look, can you see? Looped that water line around there. But it now does idle, at least. Badly. I think it would be a lot better with it. Don't know if I can be chewed with spending 200 odd quid on a new IACV. I don't think I want to do that just yet. So this will have to probably do for a temporary solution. But I'm more worried about why the engine sounds like it's knocking. I should have recorded the one before because it was a lot louder. But I'm concerned, understandably so. Well, it's sort of idling by itself. It's hunting a little bit, but it's a knocking noise from somewhere. I'm not sure if it's just injector tip. But I can just see the on data data through there, so I can keep my eye on everything. Won't take long to warm up. 57 degrees already. It actually doesn't sound that loud today. It does sound a lot quieter. Apart from that ticky noise, really not happy about that. I'm going to leave it warm up on idle and just see what happens. That coolant temperature's not going up though for some reason. Let's have a look at that wire. Still showing 82 psi oil pressure. I'm sure that gauge is shit. There's no warnings. Okay, more water. Coolant temp 104. Hasn't got any higher than that. Got 106 now, shit. So it's all settling down a little bit now. Internal temp gauge is sitting decent. That gauge is awful, but it's reading 44 at idle now. It's a little bit rich, I think. And the wheel temperature is coming up now, so thermostat opened at 106. Not heard the fan kick in at all yet, so I'm not sure if that's working. Our screen's gone off. We're still reading 82 temp, 13.1 air fuel, 7 degrees inlet temperature. Battery's charging well. Don't know if this ticking noise is right at all, mate. Definitely not. I can hear the injectors separately, so it's a different sound. Well, we have some success. It runs fine now. Coolant's bleeding. The fan works. Just kicked on there. Yeah, I can feel it drawing air through the front of the rack, so that's good. All the temperature gauges and everything are all working. Literally everything's doing what it should do, even with the IACV deleted. The only thing that I've got to do is figure out how to turn the warning off. Yeah, it's getting a bit of heat in it now. first leak. Where is this leak, it's there. And it's actually the hard line. The hard line's got a tiny little hole in it from corrosion. It's got to be strapped to the starter, making a bit of a mess. All of the connections I made are fine. There's no leaks anywhere. No leaks from anywhere. Heater hoses are all fine. No leaks. Still got that annoying tapping sound you hear. Sounds like it's come from the back of the head somewhere. It's not right. Probably should stop that. Give it a bloody leak. Oh goody, gumdrops. Pack it away, leave it till fucking spring when it's a bit bloody warmer. Shit. Old joys, old joys, old joys. There you go. See it pissing out straight onto my starter. Excellent, and that's the hardest one to get to. Just my bloody luck.